All right, have and have not fans. Now, I wasn't able to watch the haves and have nots episode The Right Cocktail last night. In my area, it was like on and off. Again, thunderstorms knocked out the cable, but then ironically enough, it came back on at like 10 o'clock. But then I went to sleep. But I just finished watching the episode. It's 10 a.m. right now when I'm recording this, so I started around 8:45. Took a break to get some breakfast and finished all my notes. But the right cocktail. Now the thing is, I actually went on social media this morning because a ton of notifications on my Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. A lot of people were telling me that, man, this episode was a snore fest. I fell asleep halfway through. Melissa's baby bump and all that other good stuff. In all honesty, it wasn't that bad as people made it out to be. I will say that I don't think it was as good as the first two episodes of the month, Veronica's House and In His Eyes. I feel like those episodes were better. I will not fault this episode that much due to the fact that I feel like this episode was more of a filler slash setup episode for future plots. Now I will say that, and I usually wait until the end of the video to give a score, but I think this episode deserves a solid 7.5 out of 10. And not because it was a horrible episode, but because it definitely seemed to be a setup. Now, I don't know if this video will be as long as last week where I almost did 50 minutes long, and then Veronica's House was like 27. These notes are pretty straightforward, so we're just going to go through them in sort of an order, but not really. Just one thing I wanted to talk about first off. You notice when Jim went to the bar to meet up with Gia, did anybody find it kind of funny that the cuts he got, I believe when Wyatt hit him upside the back of the head with the wine glass in the last episode, he had some minor cuts on the side of his face. Some of the glass shards like nicked like one of his cheeks. I know maybe because they were like small cuts, but did anybody notice how quickly those disappeared? Like, I guess when Catherine cleaned them up at the house, they were gone. Because usually when somebody gets like a black eye or hit with something with blunt force to the face, they usually have a bruise or a scar for several episodes. So I did think it was kind of funny that those marks just went away. And then of course, Gia gets the messages from Candace. Can I just say that I love how big they make the text messages on the screen now? I know this is something they've done ever since Wyatt woke up, found Jim's phone outside of the house, and was reading text messages. I remember how lousy it was when Jim got that text message from Candace in the middle of the night telling him to meet him in the front yard, and she was sorry, and that's when he got kidnapped by Warlock. I remember when they first showed that text, people were going nuts, and if it weren't for some fans sending me a screenshot, I wouldn't have been able to see it. And if I'm not mistaken, we don't get the real name of the guy that Rocky has working at the Artesian bar to help out, in the horror racketeering game. So I guess we could just call him, what was his name? Leslie Jackmore. I think that's what Justin said that the guy's made up name was. Probably his real name was in the credits of the episode, but I missed out on that. But I'm just sick of Candace treating people the way she wants, because yeah, you might be the boss, but you're in a situation where you need this guy. And then I'm not going to lie, I was actually shocked that he was able to handle the situation as quickly as he did, due to the fact, because I thought that, okay, maybe Candace is going to be upset at Rocky and then beat him up with the iron pole because this new guy isn't able to handle the situation, and Oscar dies, and then Candace is going to be pissed off. But no, he came in there. I mean, if anything, he was the one that was calm in the situation. Like, look, I was trained for this, but you need to tell me what you gave him in order for me to make sure I give him the right dose of, adrenaline. Gosh, I'm sorry. See, I'm embarrassed. I was a communications major, and then when I was a kid, I had to take speech classes due to a speech impediment. So, adrenaline. I don't know why that word is so hard for me to say. I don't know, whatever. But at least I was right in my episode preview breakdown. I didn't know for sure if that was what he gave him, but I was right. And Oscar, or Philip Boyd, on Instagram and Twitter, he said, like, who knows, this might be Oscar's last night in the have and have not, so you better tune in. So good way to fake us out. But I'm not upset about that because it was resolved quickly, as opposed to the whole, oh, Veronica and Melissa got in a car wreck, now we got to wait an entire hiatus for it to come back to see what happens. Nope. But I was pretty surprised that Oscar was pretty much out of his mind. Who knows what the hell Candace gave him? But yeah, you notice how upset she was. Is like, Rocky didn't tell me what he put in there, so maybe that's another reason why she's going to beat him up. But I think that's an extension of the scene that Rocky and Broderick had at the front desk. Can I just say that this episode gets points for bringing Broderick back after so long? I don't think we've seen him since, like, what, episode 3 of this season? It's been a while. And yeah, when Candace threw Oscar out of the room again, I'm just like, this bitch here. It's just, and Oscar's like, you're going to regret this. I wonder what he's going to do. I'm very interested to see what he's going to do, but I think he's more concerned about getting that check from Jim at the end of the episode, because he said the money's still in there. And then in the preview, Candace is like, wait, what's the holdup? What are you talking about? Federal? It's like over $8 million. What do you mean federal? So for the time being, the money is right where it was, I believe. I mean, the Crier Company. Oscar opened up his computer and then he saw the name. So I guess it's a pending transaction is the best way to put it. But it would be pretty interesting if Jim sees the money, cuts him the check, gives Oscar the money. Next thing you know, the money's gone. I don't know what the holdup is. We'll have to wait and see. But also, I just wanted to talk about the fact that the Broderick and Rocky thing was probably one of my favorite scenes of the episodes. Not my favorite. I'll get to my favorite one later. But just to know that Broderick is definitely still kicking. He's really starting his plan with Catherine. He sent the text message at 3 in the morning. Hi, Catherine. So we know that him and Rocky know that Candace is always up to something. And Rocky feels some kind of way. He's like, well, she better give me a cut of this money because I was the one that got the account numbers. I was thinking that Broderick would have been like, wait, if you have the account numbers, then why not use the numbers ourselves to get the money for ourselves? And I was wondering, you know, if Rocky was going to bring up the name Jim Crier, because Rocky is aware that Broderick is trying to get with Catherine to get her money. And Rocky could have said, oh, wait, well, I don't think Rocky knew that the account numbers were for Jim Crier's account, because I think that would be an interesting dynamic for the two of those guys to tag team in order to usurp Candace and take money from both Jim and Catherine. So it's almost like catch-21, I guess you could say. That's pretty interesting when you think about it. And going back to Oscar when he called down to the lobby area of the hotel, I was kind of weirded out by it. There were a couple scenes in here where the dialogue, well, a couple of scenes in the episode where the dialogue didn't seem right. Number one, Oscar talking about how, oh, I can't use an open computer for this work I need to do because it's sensitive information. So why would you take your laptop in an open bar pulling up account numbers and whatnot? That's why I said Tyler Perry wrote Oscar to be less intelligent than he really is in that moment when Gia came down to the table to distract him while Rocky took the photos of the computer. There's just slight inconsistencies. I mean, I say this in every video, but you know, hey, if you're a Batman fan, then you know Batman is like the strategic genius of the DC universe. But in order to beat him, some writers have to make some changes to his character to make him not as smart as he's supposed to be when he gets overtaken by an opponent. Same thing with Oscar here. It's like Oscar talking about how I can't use this information on an open computer, but yeah, I can use my own laptop in an open bar with sensitive information about bank accounts. That was one thing I didn't get. But then we know the next morning, dressed to impress, blue suit, 2 thumbs up. I like that. I actually got a same color suit myself. I haven't dressed up in quite some time. Ever since I left that call center almost 7 months ago, I haven't had an occasion to really dress up. I mean, church, you know, is usually like a polo or a jacket, but nah. But yeah, I really didn't see why that was actually written into the episode, but more on that later. Oscar's like, you know, if anything messes up, I'm going to kill you, Candace. Again, I really want to see what kind of revenge he might get into. So we know that the guy at the bar, again, Leslie Jack Morris, he's apparently from Ohio. He's not gay unless the money is right. Candace, I don't know. Maybe she'll have a thing against Rocky because Rocky told him too much about their operation. So there's that. But doesn't he remind you of Gia? You know, pretty much a young up and coming hustler. She in the escort game, and this guy's trying to get into the hustling ring. I mean, to be honest, I can see why Candace would be a bit skeptical, because he said that Candace didn't want him a part of the operation, but Rock, you know, I was like, don't thank me. Rocky was the one that got you in here. Yeah, but I want to thank you for it too. I mean, I can definitely see where she's coming from in terms of, look, we're moving up to the bigger leagues. It's not time for a rookie to come in there. I can kind of understand that. But again, it goes back to the whole open bar thing. Candace was trying to shut him up, but how much were they talking about that like Asian? I think she was like, she looked kind of Asian or Chinese. It was the woman that wasn't 2 feet away from where Candace was sitting. Why do these characters discuss sensitive information in open public areas like this? Like it happened, last season or a couple seasons ago, where they're talking about the Jennifer Salison murder in the freaking waiting room of a hospital. It was Oscar, David, and Jim beside Candace at the bar of the Artesian Hotel talking about freaking Quincy Maxwell murder. It's just astounding how these characters, well, I guess you could say these background characters, hear nothing, but they're background for a reason, I suppose. And, we do know that Candace put 2 and 2 together and knows that Justin might be into this young guy, so she'll just keep that as a secret in her back pocket. But yeah, that was pretty much the first 10-15 minutes of the episode. Not horrible, but I feel like Candace is just a whore that I want to see gone, but that's just me. Looking back through the notes here, yeah, Melissa and Hannah, not much to say here. I really talked about this enough in my episode trailer breakdown. I really did like the dynamic between Hannah and Melissa, and yeah, pretty much talking about unwanted pregnancies, which they can both relate to. I guess you could say the only difference is Hannah was completely out of control of her situation because she got raped, and I think her aunt said that she wasn't getting an abortion, which I don't think was fair. Look, I'm not saying that I'm for or against abortion, but in Hannah's shoes, I don't think that would be a fair way for her aunt to decide, because her aunt was like, apparently strung out on drugs or high on the couch when Hannah returned home that night, because what she said, I climbed under the porch and just waited there for hours, then I went back into the house, and that's when the guy got on me and raped me. And then in Melissa's case, she didn't want to do it, but she did to save the life of her dad, but it turned out not to be the truth. So yeah, there's that. But I did like the dynamic between the two. I'm glad that somebody is finally being nice to Melissa. Then we get to the man whore Benny. I just don't like Benny's character. I mean, it's one thing to be an asshole, but another when your dialogue is just, I don't know, just, well, I don't know, you better call your mom, get out of here. I mean, that sounds ridiculous. You see how ridiculous I just sounded? That's exactly what Benny's dialogue is. It's like, I don't want to, it's like, well, you just can't have sex with me with no compassion? I mean, damn, Melissa's fine. Like, I mean, I would feel conflicted because, yeah, I would be a little upset that she didn't tell me she was pregnant. And to be fair, in Benny's case, you know, he wouldn't have seen no baby bump. I mean, if we saw these beautiful scenes of a stomach exposed Melissa, we wouldn't know she's pregnant. So I just love how she kind of like poked her belly out when she was wearing that t-shirt to show a belly bump. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't buy. No, honey. I'm sorry. Your belly size is as inconsistent as Veronica's hair length. It's like we don't know episode to episode how long her hair is going to be. The same thing with your belly. So if Tyler Perry is going to try to pull off she really is pregnant, don't even. You might as well keep her flat belly until the end of the series in 2020. I don't even care anymore. Because what did she say? It's like, well, you really couldn't see the bump. It's like it goes flat when I'm living the life of boredom or something like that. I don't know what she said, but it was kind of funny how they tried to look. I get it. It actually made me laugh instead of roll my eyes, because it's just like, oh, I love it when writers of a show throw in things that the fan base is either complaining about or talking about, because it's almost like a wink to the audience. So yeah, but the fact that he's treating her like that, come on, Benny, just shut up, dude. Just shut up. And then Veronica, I told you in the episode trailer she would be tracking them somehow. And to be honest, even though it was creeperish, I mean, she does have a point. In the day and age we live in, it's not unbelievable that you can literally trace people by GPS, cell phone. Some people were saying she put a tracker on Melissa. I would hope not, but no. Then we get to Veronica going to the jail. I have to say that Veronica was probably one of my least favorite parts of the episode. Yeah, I did love how Benny was like, I don't want your ass, and then stuff like that. And basically, you can see that Veronica is treating Benny like he was David in the sense that you came into my house. Yes, I will admit that it was disrespectful for Benny to go up in her house and do what he did on her couch with her son's fiance. And I just love, don't talk about my son like that. You don't know him. Everybody knows that he's gay. Jim told David this at the beginning of season 2. Come on, man. Who cares? Everybody knows David. It's just like she doesn't want to accept it. So there's that. But she does have a point. I mean, a lot of these spouses today is like they'll leave their spouse that they've had a relationship with and a family with for decades for a young thing. And I mean that she actually does make a point with that. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with everything what Veronica says, but she is making some legitimate points. But then Benny retorted with a, I'm not yours. And that's 100% true. Then we move over to the jail, and the fact that Jeffrey called out Veronica on her bullshit was hilarious. It's like, he didn't want you. He didn't want to have sex with you. He was wrong on that part, but the fact that he didn't want Veronica was hilariously correct. And I actually did like the fact that he held his own. I was like, that's it, Jeffrey. Don't sign those papers. Then this okay, I hope he didn't sign the papers. I don't want it to be one of those situations where we get a cutoff and then it's like the next time we see Jeffrey, he's at the front desk signing the papers. His dad walks in. What if his dad walks in seconds before he signs the papers? Here's my thing. I wanted to know if those papers had anything to do with Jeffrey. Here's what I mean by this. Apparently, the paper itself, because Jeffrey seemed to have skimmed over it, is like, okay, if I sign this paper, I would testify, and then the fault goes to Benny, and I get out of here. My biggest question was, hey, Mom, if I sign these papers because you want revenge on Benny Young, I get out of here. So I'm cool with that. But will you leave me alone? Will I be able to live the life I want to live? Due to the fact that she threw Melissa in the gutter, which is ironic because if Benny gets locked up, then where the hell is Melissa going to go? Who knows? And another thing about Melissa, she said her mom used to pray and stuff like that, but at the same time, she whored her out to Veronica's gay son. So even though she said that Hannah sounds like her mom, we know that Hannah actually lives a life that backs up her spiritual claims. Let's just say that. But my biggest thing about Jeffrey, I would have asked, like, if I sign these papers, then what's up with us? Are you going to leave me alone, or what's what? So, but something that tells me even if he signed those papers, Veronica wouldn't get off his back. No pun intended. But yeah, I did not like the fact that Jeffrey was made to be like the victim of the episode again. Like, this scene was my favorite of Jeffrey so far in this part of the season because the last couple episodes he's been verbally bullied by like Justin, then Veronica, and now it's like, okay, finally Jeffrey is holding his own, but then he caves at the last second. And my biggest question was, bro, how is he going to sign those papers when he's handcuffed? That was one thing I was kind of laughing at when Veronica came in and wanted him to sign the papers. Maybe she was going to get like an officer to come in and then undo his handcuffs. But my question was, when Jeffrey was yelling, guard, guard, she was like, there's nobody but me and you in here. So I'm guessing Veronica would have gotten up and gotten him to sign the papers. I don't know how that would have worked. But did anybody else get a Monique vibe when she walked in the door? It's like, hello, my love. And then I just thought about Monique every time she does those Netflix things. She was just like, hello, my loves. I'm here to tell you about the injustice of Netflix. That was kind of funny how that was played out in my mind. But hopefully he doesn't sign the papers, because I feel like if he signed those papers and testified, Candace would have been on his ass. Like, if Benny went to, like, I know that she's on bad terms with her family right now, but I feel that if Candace found out that Jeffrey dropped dime on Benny, he will be done for. Like, he might be out of the grasp of Veronica somewhat, but he wouldn't be able to escape Candace's wrath. Let's just put it that way. And yeah, we're almost done here, but let's just get to some of the positives of the episode here. My favorite part, I talked about how I did love the Rocky and Broderick scene because we haven't seen him in a while. Catherine the dynamic duo of Hannah and Catherine again. Hannah has officially returned to work. So yes, everybody, Hannah Young is employed, and I couldn't be happier due to the fact that it's no more her moping around. This is her trying to get back on her feet. So is Catherine, but you know, just like she said, Jim's back, and I'm like, oh my God, that's going to be fun. Then we're going to, here's my thing, Jim, if he is in the house when Hannah, he better not be an asshole. He better not be an asshole to Hannah. Like, no, just no, don't even bother. I did love how, you know, Catherine was just like, yeah, I went to see Wyatt and things didn't turn out well. He's still doing bad. And what was it? How's Benny doing? Oh, he's doing all right. Did you call Marty yet? And then I think that had something to do with the police, but crap, I forgot what that was in reference to. Was that in reference to the Quincy Maxwell stuff? Probably was, but we'll just have to wait and see with that. The Derek and Hannah scene was not as bad as I thought, because I thought in the preview, like, we got that one scene where it looked like Hannah had a face of disgust somewhat, but no, it was a cute scene and I liked it. I mean, he was like playfully aggressive. It wasn't like, yo, it wasn't like a Jim and Gia like we saw later in the episode, but I did like it. And Tyler Perry, this is why I hate it, because he's actually making me like Derek as a character, and then if they do the whole lion tattoo thing, I want to be mad. But I actually did like the scene between those two. Really cute. But let me see if there's anything else I'm missing. Yeah, Erica and David, I'm glad that they addressed the fact that, yeah, let's not jump into it so fast. It was a cute scene. Erica, like, you know, kind of walking on air, breakfast is ready, and I'm just like, yo, I actually did like that scene. You know, the fact that she's a wolf whore in sheep's clothing, but I actually am not against those two being together. I mean, yeah, I would definitely want Erica to tell the truth at some point, but in the next episode preview, she says, I think I've been made, and then she throws the phone down on the bed. So is she pulling a fake out with Candace? Who knows? But I will say this much, if Candace does get her hand on that money, will she throw away Erica like she did Gia? Who knows? To their own devices. And trust and believe I will get to that scene soon. But I actually thought it was a cute scene, and apparently they're going to try to get away on the weekend. Two things with that. Number one, I don't even know what day of the week it is. I mean, we know it to be a weekday for sure, but isn't there too much for them to try to escape? Not to mention, if they were to try to escape, two things with that. Number one, with Veronica stalk him and just like on Acrimony when Melinda traced down her ex and his new wife on their yacht during their honeymoon, and she tries to kill them for revenge but ends up killing herself unintentionally. Will that be the same thing that happens to Veronica, where David and Erica get away and then she follows them? And whew, I mean, I'm telling you, this is a massive Acrimony. Look, I don't mind saying spoilers. That movie has been out for a while now, but I'm just saying now, Tyler Perry is weaving the webs of Acrimony in this series. And congrats to Taj P. Henson on getting engaged, by the way. All right, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, we didn't see Catherine responding to that text message from Broderick, but she did say, like, oh, I want a man. I'm just like, aren't you married? Whatever. So there's that. I think I'm covering everything. Candace was right. I guess yeah, we know that Wyatt is screwed with Vinny. Jim's probably going to have to bail him out, which we see in the preview. But I guess the last thing I want to talk about is Candace getting the money and just being pretty much a, I don't even know what to call her, to Gia when she comes back to the room. It's like, yeah, I gave him the stuff that knocks him out. I think she was jealous of Gia in a sense that, you know, oh, wow, I was happy. He was funny. We were talking about his family and whatnot. And I'm just like, how many times is she going to let her slap her like that? But I just hate Candace in that outfit and just the way she was kind of hunched over, like, you know, they'll never respect us. I'm just, get out of here with that. My biggest hope is, okay, if she really gets this money, pimp Candace, get rid of that storyline, that outfit. I don't want to see it no more. I don't want to see it no more. It's just like the way she's written. It's just so, it's almost as ridiculous as Benny. And that's saying a lot. I just don't like them. I mean, I don't even know how to say it, but yeah, it's like, you know what? I'm done with this life. I mean, the fact that she legitimately said, I'm not doing this anymore. It's not you. I'm done with this whole pimp thing. She got the money, so that's it. Then Gia's dumbass what am I going to do? I'm sorry. I could do better. And then even before that, it's like $1,500. How am I going to live off $1,400? So Gia was only going to get $100, which is ridiculous. But here's my thing. When she first gave money to Candace and Candace only gave her $100 and then she ripped the money and gave it back to her, she was like, wait, I only make $100? Yeah, I'm your pimp. I was doing better on my own. And then she walked out of the room sad. So why are you upset that Candace doesn't want you to work with her anymore when you can work by yourself and make more money like you did when you originally appeared in the series? See what I mean when the writing seemed a bit inconsistent with the episode? There are a lot of things that made no sense. And you can look at it this way. This season seems to be about out with the old and in with the new. I mean, you had Veronica kick Melissa out of the house. You had Gia kick Oscar and then Gia out of her hotel room. Hey, you never know. What if David finds out the truth about Erica? Will he kick her out of his house like everybody else? It's kind of interesting how that works out. Very interesting. But I will say this much. When it comes down to Gia going back to Jim's room, Candace, I mean, yeah, I don't like her, but she can definitely call it as she sees it. Look, you crying and whatnot. If you go back there, they're going to toss you to the sidelines. They're going to be done with you. And believe it or not, I thought Jim was about to show that he had a heart instead of a hard on for like a minute when Gia came in there crying. But then it's like, that won't make me feel better. It's like, look, I deal with this enough at home. He sounds just like a man with a prostitute. Look, I deal with enough of this emotional crap at home. I got to deal with it here too. Here's your money and here's an extra $20 as a tip because I thought you had potential. And then he left. And then she, girl, please. Like literally, if she goes begging to Candace again, Gia's character needs to disappear. I guess this scene was confirmation that she is not an undercover vice. Because if she was, we would have seen Gia like go to her own room or something like that, or go back to Jim's room to get the money. And then as soon as Jim left, she would have gone on the phone because maybe I thought, whoa, okay, maybe she's freaking out at Candace because her job was to find out more intel about this whore racketeering ring. So if Candace gives her the boot, that means that she isn't able to complete her job, kind of like Oscar not getting Candace to get information on Charles, so his job is busted. But no, just the way she was acting, you could tell that she is legitimately trying to get into this prostitution stuff. And I'm just not buying it. I don't even know why Gia's character was introduced. Maybe her and the guy at the bar will form some kind of alliance. I don't know. Maybe Gia will help out Rocky and Broderick. We'll just have to wait and see. But as it stands, I think Gia is one of the most, I feel like she's more useless to the plot than Charles, and we haven't even seen him in a while, but yeah, there's that. I think that covers everything I want to cover in the episode. I think this review is about 20 some minutes, but it wasn't as bad as people said it was. It definitely wasn't one of my favorite episodes, but definitely has some promising setup for future story arcs. So be on the lookout for my episode trailer breakdown, because it looks like Miss Pearl is about to return to the screen, worried about her son dealing with colored boys.